Of course you're going to get Keanu Reeves to be the person to upload hundreds of gigabytes to his brain because there's not much up there. Mnemonic, released in 1995 and is directed by Robert Longo, who made his feature-length directorial debut with this film. And this movie is starring Keanu Reeves, Dolph Lundgren, Takeshi Kitano, Dina Meyer, and Ice-T. You need to have someone looking out for all the people on the streets, and that person is Ice-T, of course. And the reason why we're talking about Johnny Mnemonic today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my longtime contributors and supporters of this channel, Dr. Camp. You strike again with another outlandish, cyberpunkish like recommendation film that, quite frankly, I've never heard of before and definitely have never seen before. If any of you out there also want to be like Dr. Camp and help support me and support this channel, you can click the PayPal link that is in the comments of this video, and you can submit a movie recommendation with your donation, and if you do, I'll give you a little shout out just like what I did with Dr. Camp, who has been a staple on this show for the last several months, so thank you very much. And I think there is a reason why I've never heard of this movie before, because it's just kind of there. It's meh. And we never had any sequels to this meh film, so I will continue feeling meh about it. The year is 2021, and the world is now driven by virtual internets that has caused a global-wide pandemic that affects everyone's nervous system the more that they're logged on to the internet, called NAS. And one way to make a living in this future dystopian world is to be a gigabyte carrier between national mob societies. And that's where Johnny Mnemonic comes into play. Some people upload the cure and vaccine to NAS into his brain, but then the Yakuza tries to take him out because they want it for themselves. And I will be lying that this whole concept of having a computer in your brain, or having a way to basically like plug a computer into your brain so that you can upload files and upload knowledge, it's been something that has popped into my brain many times, especially when I was a kid. I was always thinking that it would be really cool if I had, and this sounds really dated and really stupid, but I always thought it would be cool if I could like access something in my brain where I could have a portable DVD player in my brain, and I would insert the movie or insert whatever device it was into my brain, and like in one eye I'd be watching the movie, and then the other eye I would see real life. So I would be watching a movie but then also like going to school at the same time, and I always thought that was really cool. This movie is kind of that concept, except it's more like drug trafficking, except it's not drugs. They're smuggling the cure and vaccine readouts for this made-up disease, which I'll be honest, it's kind of difficult to attach myself to this and care about wanting to cure this disease because this didn't happen, right? We're past 2021, so maybe back in 1995, this seemed like it could have happened. I mean, hell, we had a pandemic back in 2020, so this movie basically had the right idea of what shit was gonna go down. But for it to be a made-up disease that is caused by everyone logging on to the internets for a very long time, we all know that that just doesn't happen. Well, I guess it does happen, it's just called douchebaggery. But in terms of this story, this NAS thing, it doesn't exist, it doesn't happen in the real world, so when they're like, oh, we need to save all these readouts because it carries the cure for the NAS, and I'm like, I don't care because that doesn't really exist. So bleh. And this was the time when Keanu Reeves was really trying to establish himself and trying to figure himself out. He just broke himself away from Bill and Ted, so from the teenage comedic side. He had a killer 1994, the year prior to the release of this film, with the movie Speed. And so Hollywood is trying to capitalize him, trying to capitalize on his name, so I totally get it. This movie, though, I can't see it projecting him up into the stratosphere at all, because this movie, again, just felt bleh to me. I don't think it really happened for Reeves until 4 years later when he was in The Matrix, and then he just shot off. But the whole movie, its setting, its pacing, just felt like lack of life to me. And it's a popular style that we would see in films in the late 90s where we would have all this cyberpunk and steampunk aspects. People were trying to predict like where the future was going, and we were looking, 20, 30 years into the future. The internet was becoming a big thing. It was becoming pretty normalized that computers were now entering into all of our houses. So here comes Johnny Mnemonic to capitalize on all of the paranoia, I guess, that many people in the society would have been feeling at the time. And this is where we're going, right? Everything is so digitalized and everyone's depending on the internet, and this is how the world's gonna be in 20, 30 years. And while the world still sucks today, it's definitely not a dystopian future as they predicted back in 1995. And Johnny Mnemonic, he's not the most prolific character. There's nothing really much about him that makes him stand out, that makes me want to go like, yeah, I want to be Johnny Mnemonic for Halloween, or yeah, he is such a great character and I want to see multiple sequels involving this character. There's nothing really about him. He's just bland, and of course it's Keanu Reeves at this time, where all he is doing is just doing the Keanu Reeves-ism, where he emphasizes every single word in the line, and it doesn't sound natural, and he needs to stop doing that, even though he's made a name for himself nowadays, so he's just gonna keep on doing that. So what the fuck am I talking about? The movie just seemed very messy. It felt like they were trying very, very hard to get something going and to get like a franchise going here, but it's just slightly missing on all cylinders. And we have basically the same set pieces that we would have in Judge Dredd, Demolition Man. It just felt like I've seen this movie before, and the differences that they try to incorporate into the story and with these characters, there's nothing to them, and there's nothing spectacular about them, therefore I'm not giving a shit. I was actually thinking that this was based on some type of anime, and the anime was like way better in the books or in the animation series, and then this is Hollywood's rendition of said anime, but I guess this is not based on any anime, so don't know what the fuck I was thinking, and I don't know what point I was trying to make with that. So, you know what? I'm gonna cut this review short because there's nothing really to talk about with this movie, because it's just pleh, and that's how I feel right now. Pleh. I'm gonna give Johnny Mnemonic 2 out of 5 Blu-rays. I've had better. So guys, if you've seen Johnny Mnemonic, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I'm releasing next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.